Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Beauty and the People World. We are the Posh Twins. As you guys can see from the title below, we're going to be talking about, is depression real and why we need to talk about it. Someone asked us this question when we were about to do this video, that are we ready to talk about it, and we laughed because not like as if we have already healed completely, but we just felt like there's someone out there right now going through it and needs a word of encouragement just to pull through. We want them to know they are not alone. So that's why we're about to talk about this. Yeah, today. And if you are watching this right now, want you to know that you are not alone in this. So we actually jot down some key points on our phone. So in case you see us looking down, I want you guys to know that we're looking at the key points. Yeah. So let's get right into today's video. But before we please give you a very big thumb up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your post notifications so you can get notified when we upload a new video. Actually, this is a very hard topic for us to speak on because it's more of like we're reliving what happened again. But at the same time, we're actually helping ourselves and we're helping someone that is going through it right now by giving them encouraging word that they are not alone. Because when you're going through depression, even though you are in front of, or even though you are in the midst of a crowd, in your head you feel like you are alone. So that's why we're about to do this video, to talk about it, because when a lot of people hear depression, like the word alone, they can't like it's just like something like when you have an headache and it just has to go. Some people kind of brush it up when they're depression, of like you get over it. Exactly. It's not something you have to worry about. When you tell people you are depressed, they just put that tag on it, like you get over it. Because depression is actually deep more than the way we see it on the surface. Like the way people take depression is very, very different. And the way we all experience depression is very, very different. Depression can be referred to as mental illness to some people, because when they get depressed, they kind of have some bipolar, some mental illness, to the extent that they will have to take drugs. I don't know how to put it in the way, but I feel like you understand where I'm going. So I don't want to, because there are some words that are very sensitive to use. So, and a lot of people don't really know the depth of how depression is. So when some people hear depression, they just feel like, oh, you are sad, you are crying, that's just how depression is. But you can only talk about a pain you've went through. Yeah. You can't talk about a pain that you've not gone through. It's just like a scenario whereby you hit your leg. You are the only one that screamed and shouted. You are the only one that knows the gravity of that, how that pain hits you inside of your body. But we can only say sorry to you. But you are the only one that will have sleepless night trying to tend to that one, trying to make it ill. You are the only one that is going to sting. So we can only say sorry. Even though if you kept complaining at some point, you'll be like, why are you complaining? It's just, I've hit my leg like that before. Remember that the way we all eat our legs, it just might hit a nerve in your body that we don't know. So, and so that's why at times, and I felt like there's a lot of things that comes into depression, like the way all of us deals with trauma, abuse, and everything is very different. Just because you went through something and someone went through something and that leads them to depression, some people kind of tend to write it off like, this thing is not a very bad thing, why are you depressed about it? And it kind of hits home, like when people are trying to compare your pain to theirs, like, because the way we all take pain is very different. So that's kind of it very hard when you tell people like, okay, maybe because of money issues, that is why you're having depression, and they'll be like, I also have money issue, then why are you depressed about yours? Like it kind of hits home very hard, like it hits home. So actually, as you can see by the thumbnail that we use, and this is the picture that we're going to be showing you again, this is just like after we even pull through a little bit out of it. Like that's because when you are depressed, when you are in a very deep situation, you don't even have time to hold the phone, you don't have time to do a video, you don't have time to. So I'm so grateful that we're able to document some of it on our phones, which is why we're able to have this picture today, because that was not when we are going through it real deep. Like when I was looking at this picture today, and I was very grateful to God, because it's kind of like it to me, because looking at that now, I never felt like that is the way we look back then. Like it has never at all. It has never come to my mind like that. Even when we took that picture back then, I never even thought that felt like it was the most beautiful pictures. Like when we're healing and we're like, oh, this is beautiful. So we're gonna be telling you a story why we went into depression, the causes of it, and just like more of like encouraging what to people out there, why you should be kind to people, because you never know what they are going through. That picture, actually, we did a video on depression, and that was when we are still like going through it. I think that was 3 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago. We put the video. Yeah, it was 3 years ago. We actually fell into depression while it was during COVID, when COVID hit home. So you know how it feels. It was like, how will I put it? It was early of 2020. So it was so strong. Like we had, you know, when you are still restricted inside your home, there's a difference between when you when you are depressed and you could still go out, you know, to take fresh air, to do, but when you are being restricted inside. And I think on top of it is that we are phoneless during that period. So it was, we are using my mom's phone on to go to any social media, so it was really very hard for us then, because as when we have a phone then, maybe we could have seen a encouraging word, you know, from people going through it then. So it really hit us deep then, because we were just like alone, you know. It was as if in our head we just felt like we are just alone. So maybe we have a phone then, maybe we would have like maybe a little bit better. Maybe we would have like share through people going through depression and how they can overcome it. Maybe it could have really helped us then. So it was later when we are pulling out, that's when, like, shout out to Mrs. Shola. She's the one that actually get us a phone, because we started our YouTube channel during the depression period. I feel like that's why our YouTube channel is like very, very important to us, because yesterday, before we talked about this topic, I won't lie, I had to go back down. If you guys go back, that was 3 years ago. I had to share, because that's why we are a little bit like, if you guys went down to our old videos, you see that we are like very inconsistent. We post today and we don't post tomorrow, because, and it's why our YouTube is more important to me, because I watched that depression video yesterday and I won't lie to you, I was bawling my eyes out, like I was crying. I have to show what, because at times you don't know the construction of how your head is when you are laying until you see it. Yes, honestly speaking, looking at that picture, looking the way we looked while we are talking about that depression 2 years ago, really it's just more like I'm thankful. Like I wouldn't say like it just gave us like, oh, so this is how we are, so this is how we look at that moment. So I'm very grateful that we are able to pull through it and stuff like that, because we don't have phone, we don't have people to give us encouraging words, we don't have. So by the time we are about to pull out of it, that was when God bless this woman, because anytime I remember what she did for us, then I'm always very grateful that it was just like God sent her as an angel to help us pull through it. So she gave us a phone, and I would like to, you know, like I said, we have ill. It was just like a little bit. It was just a little bit like I felt like during the time we got the phone, we are actually pulling ourselves out of it. But during the time we don't have a phone, you know, with COVID and everything, it just as if like we're just alone in our thoughts. Like it was just as if like we are in a very dark room, and we just feel like it's just the end of the world for us. Actually, we'll not be able to talk about why we actually went through depression, because I feel like we are not ill yet. Like we are not completely ill. We are ill, but we are not completely ill yet. And I feel like we are not just at the right stage to talk about it, because we feel like talking about it, we have to have like an achievement. Like as you can see our picture of before and after. If we have not, like, you know, ill and look healthy now, we will not be able to share it. So why would we share something that while we are still looking like that way, and before it's just like still like after, we'll not be. So I feel like that's how the story is too. So that's why we'll not be able to share that for now. So actually 2020, something really hard hit us. Don't quote me wrong, my twist and I, whenever we heard about people going to depression, I always feel sad for them. But whenever I heard that people commit suicide when they go to, I have this kind of thought in my head, like, why would they commit suicide? Like back then, like I just have like, it's not a big deal. But like what Beauty said earlier, if you have not gone through something, you won't know how depth or how it feels really hard to go through it. So we actually went, like, you know, when we hear the word depression, especially I'll be like, when people say then like, oh, I'm depressed, just like, you're just thinking, just try to take your mind off it. But actually there are some things that will actually eat you so deep, to the extent that you feel like something is drowning, you feel like something is choking you, like you feel like it's just the end of the world. You just feel like it's the end of the world. So, and you feel like it's something that you feel like it's, you know, when something that you never expected to happen to you happened to you, and you felt like maybe you are the only one experiencing that in the whole world. Like that is how we felt when that thing happened to us. Like we felt like it's not supposed to happen to us. Like we never expected that kind of thing is going to like happen to us. So that really just like, I just wanted to tell everyone out there, if you are watching this, please be kind to people, because you never know what they are going through, especially if you have friends and family. You see, there are some creative things some people post at some point, even though you might think, oh, this person is just joking. I want to tell you, please just check up on your family. And if you see someone just saying, oh, because I've seen a not like a video or something whereby someone posted on their status that, oh, I want to die, and someone replied, just go and die with a laughing emoji, because the person doesn't understand what that person is going through. But you saying that one word can actually lead for that person to be like, oh, that's just what I've been thinking. when you're depressed, you have nothing that a suicide thought coming into your mind. There's nothing you feel that, oh, I feel like that's how I can have peace, because you're always in your thought. There's this kind of demons that is always with you. My sister and I could not. We always have like sleepless nights. We couldn't eat. I feel like that's one more of like loss of appetite. We cried every day. Like crying was like mostly our food. Like we cry every day, morning, day, and night. So just for you to feel so, that's just one thing I just want to more emphasize on. Like, be kind to people. You never know what they're going through. Stop dropping negative comments on some people, because some of people that are going through depression are the people that laugh the most, are people that you think they are normal people. Like they look normal to you. You feel like, oh, that's why you hear when some people say, oh, this person blah blah blah, this actress or this singer committed a suicide. You be like, oh, but she just posted yesterday on her TikTok. Oh, she just posted yesterday on her Instagram. Oh, she was laughing through yesterday. She was that was because you can't write it on top of your head, and it doesn't show, because depression is an inner battle, not something that is physical that you can see, unless it becomes like really really, when it becomes really visible. So that's just how it is when it comes to and depression. Actually, when we're going through depression, actually I never, yeah, we are crying, like, because it was like a endless cry. Like, we're just crying and crying and crying and crying, because we never felt like that kind of thing would happen to us. That's why I said it was really hard for us back then, because as soon we actually we actually have a phone, maybe we would have seen someone that, like, maybe come across any encouraging words online, that can really help us put through. The day I actually know that the depression really hit us at was the day I went to go and get something outside, and there was a woman that actually know me and Beauty on the street, and the way she shouted, because whenever we go out, I think people don't even know that we are going through that. I think the only way they know is actually because of our loss of weight, because we're always smiling outside, we're always talking with people like normally, but when we're inside, it's just as if we're just alone in that thought. Like, it just as if our mind and our brain is working together, and what is going there is just like, this is just the end of the world. It's just the end of the world for you guys. It's just the end of the world. Like, that just like something that's always ringing in the head. So when she saw me, she actually saw both of us, and she actually screamed. Like, don't come to it really catch us like in off guard. She just come and asked us like, what happened to you? Are you guys sick? And sort of like, so I was looking at her like, what does she mean? Like, we're not sick. So that was when she was like, you guys have dramatically lost the weight. There's a difference between losing weight a little bit and you just going from 100 to 0, or going from 1,000 to 0. Is very, very traumatic. I won't lie to you guys. It was that day we knew the gravity of how visible our depression was. Like, we don't know. We don't knew that we get some like stares, but we just felt like normal as a twin. Even now we get stares, like, because we are twins. So we just felt like that. Though it might be because of we are twin, but then there are some people, maybe they've known us how we had weight then. Yeah. So, and they now looked at us now and say like, oh, they've lost so much of weight. Maybe, but they couldn't come and talk to us about it, or confront us about it. But that woman, because she was like close to us, she was like, what happened to you guys? Why are you guys like this? Something must be wrong somewhere, blah blah. We were just laughing. And it doesn't mean that it's when you lose weight, because some people like, oh, maybe it's when someone loses weight, that's when you detect that, oh, this person is going through depression. No, it's not, because we all have the way we take depression, like what we said earlier. So you see someone that does not lose weight does not mean the person is not going through depression. The person might be going through a lot of things. Even some people even gain weight. Yeah, why they were going through depression. So people gain weight a lot. Even some people become like I won't say beautiful, but some people just gain weight to the extent that it makes them look normal. It makes them look normal to the extent that you won't know that they're going through depression. There are a lot of things that can cause depression to people. It might be financial problem. Maybe someone that is rich become poor, or maybe they get into debt, financial trauma, and a lot of things, abuse, a lot of bullies. When being bullied, you can actually go to depression. A lot of things like that actually cause depression. And some people, they go to depression maybe because they take some substances and they are trying to overcome taking those hard drugs or things like that. They can go into depression while thinking about it. Like a shout out to some people, because the strongest people are the people who go to depression and pull out of it without not talking to a therapist, without not going to rehab, because I feel like they are the strongest. I'm not saying people that went to rehab or people that actually talk to a therapist are not the strongest. I'm just like, it's a very contradictory thing, because there's just this one mind that keeps telling you to commit. Like, it just keeps telling you every time that is just how you can have peace, that's how you can be happy, that's just how you can be. So trying to fight that mind and trying to come out of it without no help, without no talking to anybody, and without trying to it's just more like a good mind and a bad mind is fighting, and you are able to overcome that bad mind, and it's just something that is very strong. Like, I hold it deeply because, like we said, we actually went through depression during COVID, so there was no way we could talk to anybody. There was no way, thanks to our mom, because our mom is just like our backbone, because there's a lot of stigma going through that surrounds depression, and I feel like it's not being talked enough. I'll keep saying it. We might do another video on depression next year. We might do it because I feel like every day people go to depression, and I feel like a lot of populations go to depression every day, and I feel like if this thing is stopped more, I feel like we'll have low less of suicide rate, and we'll have like how people pull through, like we'll have a safe place for people. Because the stigma about this is that the reason why I feel like a lot of people don't even come out to talk to people is when they come out to talk to people and they are like telling them like, you know what, just take a drug, or you know what, breed, you are not the first person on the earth to go through this, so why are you taking it so hard? So I feel like it's that stigma that make a lot of people not to come out to talk to people. Because when you try to talk to people, because I remember there was a period of time that we actually was able to go out, and we actually like was using like indirectly to talk to someone. The person was like, the person, we are not the first person to go through it, because it happened to us. She was even telling us like 10 or 15 people that have went through that same thing, we went to that same issue, and it was no big deal. I feel like there's so much stigma surrounding it. They say that's why people don't. I feel like people be like talk out. I feel like until it actually becomes something that is irreversible. Yeah, that's when people are like showing concern. People don't show you concern when they are supposed to show concern, when you really needed it the most. People don't show concern. They show concern when they feel like that's why when it's visible. When it's visible, that's I feel like when it's visible, can be categorized in so many ways. Maybe when that someone died, and that's when you see like people now started protesting and be like, oh my god, and he was speaking out. That person was speaking out, but we actually overlooked it. We actually didn't think it was that serious. I remember a lot of times when we got the phone, like I said, we've actually pulled a little bit out, but we are not like I can say then that we pulled out when we got the phone was like 20% out of 100. As you can see, we still have a long way to go. I remember me and my sister writing on our Instagram, writing on our WhatsApp status. I kept saying we need help, we need help. I write it in English, I write it in our native language, I write it in Spanish. Like I said, I kept saying that we need help. I kept saying that we need help, we need help. And it's so funny that a lot of people shared it, a lot of people looked at it, and nobody reached out. And we feel like they just, I don't know, we feel like, at that moment in our mind, we feel like they are mocking us. That's what I felt, because I was like, oh, if other people are seeing it, they're kind of like, yeah, you guys will, in your mind, and you felt like, I told you that there's this one inner demon. There's this one inner demon that will keep telling you that, oh, can you see, you deserve it. So just like, so, and I kept thinking that, what if we had actually committed this, or what we should have actually gone through it? So these people are those people that will be saying, oh, and I remember her writing this thing on her status, I remember them writing this on their status. Likewise, they could not help out when we really needed it the most. Like pulling through it without no help really give us the courage to know that we can weather any storm that come our way. Because I know a lot of people might not understand, going through financial problem, going through traumas, going through something that you never thought in your entire life that you will go through it. It's something that something that will really give you this kind of like a backstab. It's a backstabbing moment to they say that it's gonna be like a shocker to you. When the worst part is, as when we have money, then people could have went to a therapist. And the worst part is when you are crying out for help and nobody actually reach out to you, because it actually get to a stage whereby we are thinking of committing suicide. Like it's to that extent, because we just feel like we feel like we are the only one going through it. We feel like nobody has ever went through it, and we feel like we don't really deserve it. So we feel like what's left for us on this earth, like just to just have peace. Like, never mind then. Like if you see anyone or you're anywhere that just writes to them, even if it's indirectly, just check up on that person, because the person might just need the encouraging word from you, just to hear, that like you'll be fine, everything will be fine. An encouragement word when they are gone. Don't write. Don't come out when they are gone. Like when they are still in need of that word, be there for them. Even if you can't help with whatever they're going through, maybe it's financial issues, maybe it's abuse, even if you can't help, a word can actually save a person. Like a very nice word can actually save a person, because then I won't lie to you, assuming we actually see someone to actually like give us a word of encouragement. That's why I said I was very painful then that we don't have a phone with us, because assuming there's a phone with us, we might have seen, you know, you might come across any quotes or any video of someone telling you to be fine and sort of like that. But we didn't see, even when we tried to write to my mom's status, because we still have some friends number there, all of them actually checked it and none of them reached out, none of them even asked us if we are fine or if we are good, or even when we got a phone that we are still like talking about it, all of them was checking it. Even some would use a laughing emoji, like it was like.
So there's a stigma on top of it. So when people are like, why don't they speak out, speak out, speak out, you people just say speak out, but the action don't speak along with it. People also speak out about it. So when I write it on my status now that, oh, I'm going to do this, people don't show up. So that's how it is for people going through it.
The even worst part is when you speak out to people and they even add more to what you are going through. Imagine telling someone, okay, it's because of this financial problem, that's why I'm depressed, and they write up and tell you like, you are not the only first person that will go through it.
Or
Even
they blame you. It might even be trauma. It might even be trauma, and they try to make it look like it's your fault or going through this. They try to even victim blame you, or they try to brush it off and be like, oh, that's nothing. It's nothing. Like, because I'm talking, we are not just using our voice to talk about ours. We are using to talk about people that are going through it. Like, it's very hard, like, to come out of it. So that stigma is one thing why we depressed people will never speak out about it.
I remember I sent a letter to a friend actually, because I was on an app and I was telling him about when we are depressed and people that commit suicide. Like, I was telling that there was a time during those times that we were going to depression that I actually stand in front of, I was actually going to in front of a moving car just to edit all, and you know, that's just the end of it. Like, if not because of a man that actually put me like, oh my god, you understand? And it was, and the last bit of, and I said, if someone is going to depression, they should just get help or they should just disappear. It was like, so I remember then, like, because it was very hard, then I actually sent him a letter. So I'm gonna actually be reading out to you guys so you guys can, you know, like, I said, a person who has gone through that trauma can only tell you about how suffocating is it to do without feeling. When you tell about this to your parents, they don't take it seriously, not your friend or any closest person of yours.
Wait, we actually, our mom take it seriously, but we're just talking about like some parents might not. So we are talking about, when we talk about this thing, it's categorized into everybody.
Yeah.
Some people, parents don't take them seriously while they're going through it. Some friends, some family, so it's actually not like our mom.
My mom was there for us throughout. Was there for us throughout. So I said, it is suffocating. I said, it is not your friend or any person of yours. It is suffocating as if you are stuck in a dark room without any fresh air. You want to breathe, but you want to hug someone. You want to talk to someone. You want to love, but sadly, you didn't get anything from anywhere. Like, that's exactly what we went through. Like, imagine if there's someone to talk. I don't know why I'm crying. Okay. I said, depression is like an invisible disease. You can't see it, and if you never had it, you can never imagine how it is like. A depressed person may look sad to anyone, and there was this is just the case, and in their experience, it is a temporary state that you just have to get over. They don't understand what it's like to fight with your own brain to get through the day when everything requires an incredible amount of effort. You get nothing out of it. No reward, no good feeling, no satisfaction. Not just a day, but weeks on end. This really for any condition from ADHD to bipolar disorder to a lot of, you understand, you can just snap out of that state. Like, that's what really gets me annoyed. Like, is when people just say like, oh, just forget it, you know, you are thinking too much, you know, you can just like, just let it get out of your head. And this is what kept the stigma alive. It is a lack of empathy, understanding, and knowledge about this condition. And people seem to forget that mental illness is out of one's control. Like, you can't just control the flu, just the way you can control a flu. A broken arm is an obvious impairment, and even if you haven't experienced it, you can imagine the problem and pain by saying it.
We will be sharing one part of when we were actually suicidal. I feel like, let me just give you like a little bit description of how depression is to us. You know, just go outside, you are outside, but just imagine yourself being alone in the world whereby there's no anybody there to call for help, and you are like, let's say you are wounded, maybe you had an accident or something, but you are crying for help, but there's nobody to call for help. I feel like I could say it like it's a description of how depression is at that moment going through it. I remember like when we were going through it, we actually bought IPO. I feel like some people know what we mean by IPO. Actually, remember that we would have gotten something more dangerous than that, assuming we are not in COVID. But because we are in COVID, that is what we can lay our hands on at that time. And my sister and I were about to drink it, alhamdulillah, because I kept alhamdulillah. My son and I were about to drink it when my mom called us, and my mom shouted, you know, that woman went through it with us. Because my mom shouted, I could still have that vivid image of her that day. Like, she was screaming that, she was like, ah, Omomeji, and two kids at two children at the same time. She was so scared. So they said that, I won't lie to you, after that day, my mom never leave us alone. She never leave us alone. She's always there with us. She's always with us, because she was like, if you guys can do this thing, I don't want you to do another thing worse than that. So it's one of advice I'll give to people, that if you know people going through depression, please don't let them be alone. Because I feel like it's kind of hastening up the suicidal thoughts. But if they see someone to talk to about, someone to, I feel like that's why some people go to rehab and talk to therapists. But if you know that they can't afford that, so please just be with them and keep telling them like encouraging words. Because and I want you guys to know that suicide is not the end of the world. I feel like right now I could actually say, because we are just like an advocate for it, because I feel like this thing is just, even when we become big more than this, it's just kind of one part of like mental health. Like we always talk about it every time we always talk about it, because I also want to have someone going out there that suicide is not the end of life. Because you committing suicide is just as if you are letting that problem you actually went to, you let it overpower you, and you let it win against you. Like is it win against, I don't know, like you let it win against you. Because when we actually went through it, I was like, yeah, we actually fought this battle to the end. Like, we didn't let it kill us, we actually want the one that killed it. So don't feel like, you know, don't feel like just the end of the world. I understand when you're in that position, you just feel like it's just the end. But try to always tell yourself every blessed day that I'm going to be the one to win, not you. You're not going to like win over me. So, and I want to give you like an advice to people going through anything that would have made them depressed or going through depression, that trust me, it's just a phase. It's going to pass. Is a phase. Everything you are going through right now, things that has happened to you right now, trust me, is a phase. It's going to pass. Please try to look at a better way. I know that it's very hard to give this advice, because then if you give me this kind of advice, to be honest, I count you as a wicked person. But at the same time, I feel like we needed some advice to go through it. Trust me, it's not if God has given us a lot of signs to let us know that no condition is permanent. We all have rainy season, we have dry season. The sky is always that we have like morning and we have night. So if those things can happen, I feel like there's no any situation, any problem, any trauma that we're going through that won't end, or that won't have a solution to all problems that we have. So please, it's just like an advice to everyone going through it out there. Please trust me. If you have money to talk to a therapist, if you know you are, please go to it. Because please go for it. Like, go for it. Talk to someone. You can speak. You can send us a DM too. You can speak to us, even though we might not be able to help in some places, but at least we'll be able to help in some places that we feel like we can help about. So please talk out to people. Please talk out. I know that there's a stigma surrounding it, but talk out to people that you feel like they can. Your voice will be heard and your voice will be seen. Or I don't know how to. And please don't let it overweigh you. Please don't commit suicide. Suicide is not the end of it. Trust me. Please make it worse. Like, suicide is not the end of it. Just make it worse. You just let it win over you. And trust me, it's not the end of life. Like, that problem you are going through right now is not the end of life. Trust me, it's gonna get better. It may look as if you are not moving, or it may look as if you are just in one stand. You are stuck in one place. But trust me, once you believe that you move, trust me, you actually move out of it. Please don't commit suicide. Please, suicide is not gonna make it better. It's gonna make it more and more worse. Because imagine you're going to meet God and you actually killed yourself. Like, please don't let it get to that stage. Please, I'm begging you. From me. If you think suicide is you running away from it, that makes you a coward, and you are not a coward. So please, if you are going through it right now, I'm begging you, please do not end it. If you are thinking of ending it, please don't end it. If you are going through a problem right now and you feel like, oh, there's no way out of it, trust me, there's a way out of it. God gave his strongest battle to his strongest soldiers. So please, so that's what I want to tell you today. We hope this encourage someone out there to lift them up that it's not the end of life. And depression is real, guys. Depression is real. It's real.